Básicamente lo que nosotros hoy día...
Our decision to maintain rates brings a forward bias. What it shows is the central bank is waiting to have enough information to see that there is a convergence of inflation towards the target of 3% within 2 years.
How should we interpret the fact that the language in the statement around inflation didn't change at all?
It means that we maintain that bias, and as long as we do not have greater clarity regarding the fact that this convergence is actually taking place, the monetary policy rate will be maintained. We have extraordinarily high inflation, and therefore, it is important to have that prior diagnosis before changing the bias in policy. It means that we maintain that bias, and as long as we do not have greater clarity regarding the fact that this convergence is actually taking place, the monetary policy rate will be maintained. We have extraordinarily high inflation, and therefore, it is important to have that prior diagnosis before changing the bias in policy. We see this change in the evolution of China, which is important for the price of copper. There was a movement in raw materials, but in the case of copper, we have had a significant increase. This change in the COVID-0 policy has generated a change in perspectives. What this has produced for us is an appreciation of our currency, a significant appreciation in recent times that we must evaluate carefully in light of the macroeconomic scenario in the next monetary policy report.
How much does a stronger peso now help temper inflation?
The appreciation has a short-term effect and it has a medium-term effect. And the medium-term effect depends fundamentally on the factors behind the appreciation of the currency. We have an appreciation that is mostly multilateral, and we have a component of reduced levels of uncertainty. And we have to see, depending on the origin of the different components that are behind the appreciation, what the medium-term result is going to be. The medium-term result is very important for the 2-year inflation convergence goal that we have. That is what we are going to carefully evaluate in the monetary policy report. A withdrawal like the ones that have occurred in the past would be extremely damaging to the Chilean economy, not only from the perspective of inflation, but also from the perspective of capital market depth and the economy's ability to react to external shocks. It generates significant volatility in the market at the time because they are very significant amounts.
How is rising copper prices affecting the economy and inflation?
An increase in copper prices means more dollars in our country and therefore an appreciation. And that in the short term has certain downward forces on inflation. It has short-term effects on the downside, but the long-term effects could be the opposite. So we have to analyze in the context of what the macroeconomic conditions are in each moment, and therefore how much the impact is in the short term and in the medium term. Let's not forget that our inflation target is 2 years away. It is not in the short term.
There's been talk about a common currency in Latin America. Does it make sense for countries to eventually work towards this, or at least discuss it in a theoretical way?
Latin America's reality is quite different macroeconomically speaking, and we all know that a common currency requires a significant convergence of policies. It means a single monetary policy. We have very different inflationary realities, and therefore the path to a common currency is very long and was very long in Europe. When the euro was established, the economies were much more stable with advances. It took many years. So I see this having more complexity and distance.
What message would you like to send to markets today?
The Central Bank of Chile has a commitment to inflation. It is our goal, and the central bank, all its board members, are fully committed to that goal. Our goal is for inflation to reach target within 3% in a 2-year period. It is not an easy task. We are doing it, and we are putting effort into it.